In today's video, I'm gonna explain the ideal plan for you to lose body fat quickly. So I can show you an example of me going from a body fat of here to a body fat here. And I'm also gonna show you some of the people that have worked with the Transformation Challenge, people like Dan Devine, who've gone from here to here. And I love to highlight Drea, who went from here to here, all in a short amount of time. I'm gonna explain to you exactly what they did and how you can apply it to your success. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. In today's video, I want to address questions I've been getting about losing weight quickly. And for those of you that know me, you know I'm going to say, like, don't focus on losing weight quickly. But listen, this is the real life scenarios. And there are some places and some ways that we can be very successful in losing body fat very quickly, keeping it off, and just having some success with it. Because if you really want to go all in and get leaner and you have a deadline, well, let's talk about it, because some of the people I just highlighted were a part of our Transformation Challenge, which we're starting in a couple weeks. But I want to talk to you about, as a coach who's seen this thousands of times, what are those traits that lead to success? What are the things that I did that I noticed that made me successful? And we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition. We're going to talk a little bit about, your daily activity, talk a little bit about mindset, and the fourth, and what I consider to be probably the most important factor, we'll save that for last. So first things first, are you eating like a jerk? Listen, it goes without saying, like, anything that you put in your body, any energy that you're consuming is going to have a impact on you, on your energy levels, on your training and your recovery, but also on your fat storage. And I don't get too caught up in any one type of diet. But a diet that you can really stick to is what's going to work best, whether that be fasting or whether that be, any type of plan that eliminates things. I just did a video the other day talking about don't eliminate carbohydrates, because that can have some real negative impacts downstream to things like hormones and thyroid and things like that. But I'm also not very extreme at all when it comes to dieting. Why? Because I've seen the least success with extreme measure protocols, okay? Including fasting, including carnivore, including keto. They can have a lot of success, but what I find is they also have some of the worst rebound, okay? And so what I want to talk to you about today are the strategies that I've seen that worked for the individuals and myself. And that was switching to an approach where accountability is the only real diet measure. Accountability to your macro totals, your calorie totals for the day. And if you don't really understand where your calories or your macros should be, I do have a free calculator. You can go here. And if you don't understand like how much protein to hit and you just want an easy number, I always say, hey, just hit your goal weight in protein, right? So if you're 250 pounds and you're like, my goal is to lose 100 pounds, I want to be 150, hit 150 grams of protein a day. You're going to eat plenty of protein for building muscle. So first things first. Successful people, when it comes to their diet, they understand what they're taking in. They understand how to set themselves up for success based on their calories and macronutrients. But there's one final piece that most people don't really start to pay attention to until further down the road. And it's something that the second I did this, boom, things started happening. That's right, planning meals ahead. Do you know what you're going to eat for your next meal? Do you know what you're going to eat tomorrow? Do you know what you're going to eat for the next few days? When you start repeating these patterns and you take decision-making out of the process, decision fatigue for many dieters is what really sets us off track. You get that feeling of like, I don't know what I'm going to eat. I'm stressed and I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat something that tastes delicious. That throws me off plan. It's Thursday night. You think, well, I might as well I ruined the week. I'm just going to start over on Monday. And you set yourself back another week or two instead of just fitting something into your daily goals or having a meal already planned. Even if it comes down to going and getting something that's like a quick service meal or a fast food meal, understanding that you can go to those restaurants, I've done those videos, and you can get something that fits your goals. Just because you go to McDonald's or Burger King or Taco Bell doesn't mean you have to go off plan. And that's the beauty of being flexible and accountable, is that you can fit social events, you can fit your normal life. And the people that are successful in this approach, they are finding ways to continue living their life the way they enjoy it. The people that aren't having success long-term, but maybe short-term success, are just changing things that are going to go back the other direction when they reach their goal or when they get burnt out. So that's first. Losing fat quickly comes down to what you're putting in your mouth. Hands down, that is the easiest way to change your body composition. The next thing is lifestyle. Okay, so what is your daily activity like? Now, when I show you extreme cases of fat loss in a short amount of time, someone like Dan Devine, who won our transformation challenge, and the reason I always highlight Dan is because we had such a great interview with him that we discovered he became a little bit obsessed with this transformation, but it worked and he's kept the weight off. So what did he do? He started tracking his steps. Now, the reason I often talk about walking and step tracking as a form of cardio over other forms of cardio, such as jogging or, endurance training or even high intensity interval training, is because I've tried it all. And when I talk about success after a transformation, what I've noticed is the people that are incorporating walking or cardio or step counting into their daily routine are able to continue that after they reach their goal. Now, you don't have to do as much to keep fat off as you do to get it off. But when you look at other styles of cardio, and I myself have great memories of doing lots of high intensity cardio when I was dieting down for a bodybuilding show, what I remember is as soon as that show was over, I did not ever want to do high intensity cardio again. However, the last couple times that I've dieted down, what I found is that even though my diet was over, I still kept up with my steps. I still kept up with my walking. And what that allowed me to do was stay leaner and not have these fluctuations in body composition that required me to constantly be kind of recalibrating my goals. Okay, so when it comes to losing weight quickly, once you got that diet in place and you've got it in a place where you can handle being consistent, there's really no limitations to how much movement you can add. I've had some individuals lose as much as 5 or 6 pounds in a week who were walking 20 to 30,000 steps a day. And before you say, well, I don't have time for that, I understand. I'm just giving you examples of what can be done. Getting up before you have to start your day, planning some walking around the end of your day. Perhaps you can just fit it into your daily schedule. If you've got some free time throughout the day, getting those extra steps, but you just start changing your perception around fat loss is just diet. And you pair that with more movement and you're going to see some pretty remarkable things. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about as far as lifestyle that I have found has a profound impact that not a lot of people would associate with losing body fat and keeping body fat off is resistance training, right? Because most people think like if you're in the gym doing resistance training, you're trying to put on weight, put on muscle. But what I found is that most approaches to rapid fat loss, and I've seen some pretty low calorie, fasting, 1 meal a day approaches. What typically happens in those approaches is the nutrition is so bad, even though it's low calorie, that you end up losing lean body mass. Lean body mass is metabolically very challenging to keep. It requires maintenance. You got to go to the gym and train, but it's also going to allow you to eat more and feel better and look better. So the reason Drea's transformation was so remarkable was because she started training again, and she actually recomped and put muscle back on that she had kind of lost through some health issues and some lifestyle issues. And you see the results. It's almost unbelievable that was only 3 months. And this is the feedback I also get when I see people like Dan and even to a degree myself when I diet down, is that it doesn't look like almost even the same person or that it's possible in a short amount of time. But it's a situation where 1 + 1 + 1 = 10, right? If you just change your diet, sure, you'll look a bit better. If you just change your diet and you start getting more steps in, sure, you'll look a little bit better. If you change your diet, if you start moving more, and if you start adding in some resistance training, this is going to catapult you to an entirely different level. For me, it's hard to express because the people that haven't put that effort in, they haven't seen it before, they really don't understand what's possible. And it was the first time that I did it, along with this final thing that really kind of solidified to me, wow, I really wasn't doing all the things I could be doing. I'm going to dig in a little bit more into the diet aspect because I just kind of brushed on that. But before that, I want to touch on this final thing that all the people that lose weight quickly have, and that's a deadline, okay? So when you look at images of myself, Dan, Drea, and the thousands of others that I'll be posting. Our challenge that just ended, I can't wait to share those with you guys and do some interviews. But if you look at those changes, they're all due to a deadline, right? I think we can all remember a time in our lives where either we wanted to get shredded for our wedding, we had like a cruise coming up, maybe it was summer vacation, something where we knew we had maybe wanted to be seen and look great. And so that's what these challenges are for. And this is why I love the deadline of my transformation challenge. It's why I created it. It was to help you guys, to help those that need that final push. And that's what we get in that private group. And when we start talking to people, it's that accountability, it's that deadline, it's the excitement around finishing something that you start. You don't have to do a bodybuilding competition. That's for me, like my reason to get that extra rep in the gym, to make sure I get that final meal of the day with extra protein. But the transformation challenge offers that opportunity the same way. And even if it's not that, I've suggested to clients that they schedule a photo shoot, right? You pay a photographer for a photo shoot a few months in advance. You're going to see yourself change your approach, okay? So those are the keystones of the things that I see that are making people successful when it comes to a lot of fat loss in a short amount of time. We've seen some remarkable things. One thing you got to remember is the more body fat you have, the quicker you can lose it. 4, 5, maybe even 10 pounds of fat loss in a week, not likely unless you are carrying an extreme amount of body fat. And yet I can see athletes that are fairly lean losing 1, 2, 3, sometimes even more pounds of body fat in a single week because they lock in and they really start to pay attention to the details. Now, when it comes to the diet, the things that I have found that allow us to be a little bit lower calorie and not suffer, there's a few keys there. One is meal timing. A lot of us don't realize this, but our hunger signals are related to when we eat. So when you start setting up times that you eat every day, you're gonna get hungry at those times every day. Now, the magic number for me when I'm dieting is 4 times per day, right? When I'm not dieting, I'll typically eat 3 times per day. But when I'm dieting, if I eat 4 times per day, those meals spaced out properly, the same times each day, the same foods each day, pretty consistently, really allow me to enjoy those meals, feel full, and go on with my day. Now, in each one of those meals, I'm gonna include a few things. Protein, okay? Obviously, if I'm trying to hit 200 grams of protein a day and I'm eating 4 times a day, I'm gonna be somewhere between 40 and 60 grams of protein in each meal. That right there is gonna make sure that I'm pretty full. I'm also gonna add in some form of fiber, some form of fruit. I'm a big blueberry, strawberry, banana, I love that. So even if I'm having some carbs that are more sugary, because I tend to eat a lot of carbohydrates, I'm going to include something that's got a little more fiber to it, a little bit, things like fruits and vegetables have some other things, some minerals and vitamins that are gonna allow us to feel fuller and feel better. I also believe in including fat in every meal, right? So between 10, 15 grams of fat in each meal. Sometimes that fat source can come from something like the steak that I'm eating. But if I'm eating something a little bit leaner, I might add in something like some avocado. I might add in something that has a little more fat. I might add in some cashews or something like this, because a balanced macronutrient meal is going to keep you fuller longer. It's going to improve digestion, and it's going to keep you looking forward to that next meal. So take some of these tips and don't limit yourself. If you really want to lose fat quickly, put yourself in the best position possible by planning ahead and setting a deadline. Those 2 things right there, the mechanics behind the rest, we can work with. But if you're planning ahead and you have a deadline, you are going to be successful because you're going to pay attention to your diet, your lifestyle, and your training, and you're going to adjust them accordingly. Now, if you need help adjusting those accordingly, please let me know. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow.